I'm not particularly fond of him. Those aren't words you hear very often from Rory McIlroy. Throughout his career, Rory has built a reputation as one of golf's most respected and diplomatic figures. Even when he's disagreed with fellow players, he's usually chosen his words carefully. But in the summer of 2026, something changed. After Bryson DeChambeau became embroiled in a controversial rules dispute at the Open Championship, Rory didn't hold back. He described Bryson's behavior as performative and even suggested he had held the tournament hostage. For many fans, it was the moment years of tension finally boiled over. Because this wasn't really about one incident, it was the latest chapter in a rivalry that had been building for years. A rivalry fueled by different personalities, different philosophies, different tours, and one of the most heartbreaking finishes in major championship history. So how did two of golf's biggest stars go from respecting each other to becoming the faces of golf's most talked-about feud? Let's rewind. But before we dive in, if you enjoy golf documentaries, breaking news, and stories like this, make sure you subscribe. We upload new golf content every week, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. When Bryson DeChambeau arrived on the PGA Tour, there wasn't any bad blood between him and Rory McIlroy. In fact, there was genuine respect. Both were incredibly talented. Both were major champions in the making. But that's where the similarities ended. Rory represented everything golf fans had admired for generations. A smooth, effortless swing, natural athleticism, creativity, feel. Bryson represented something completely different. He approached golf like an engineer solving a complex equation. Every club in his bag was built to the same length. Every swing was measured. Every shot was backed by data. Every decision came from science. Fans quickly gave him the nickname, the Mad Scientist. Some thought he was brilliant. Others thought he was trying to reinvent a game that didn't need reinventing. Rory admired Bryson's work ethic, but he also questioned whether golf was becoming too dependent on technology. At first, those disagreements stayed respectful. No personal attacks, no heated exchanges, just two elite players who happened to see the game differently. Then Bryson made a decision that changed everything. In 2020, Bryson stunned the golf world. He added nearly 40 pounds of muscle. His mission was simple: hit the golf ball farther than anyone had ever imagined. Suddenly, drives of 340, 350, even 370 yards became almost routine. Golf courses that had challenged the greatest players for decades suddenly looked vulnerable. Many fans loved it, others hated it. Some believed Bryson was changing golf forever. Others feared he was exposing the limits of golf course design. Then came the ultimate test, the 2020 US Open at Winged Foot. One of the toughest golf courses in America. Most players tried to survive it. Bryson attacked it. While the rest of the field struggled, he overpowered the course with relentless driving distance and captured his first US Open title. It wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. After that week, one question dominated golf. Had Bryson figured out something everyone else had missed, or was modern equipment making power too important? Rory became one of the leading voices calling for golf's governing bodies to look at distance. He wasn't criticizing Bryson personally, he was questioning where the sport was heading. Bryson saw things differently. His response was simple: I'm playing by the same rules as everyone else. Neither player backed down. The debate divided golf fans around the world. But compared to what was coming next, this was only the beginning. Then came 2022, the year professional golf split in two. LIV Golf arrived with enormous signing bonuses, guaranteed money, and a promise to challenge the PGA Tour. Some of golf's biggest names accepted. Bryson DeChambeau was one of them. Rory McIlroy wasn't. In fact, Rory became the PGA Tour's strongest public supporter. Time after time, he defended the tour in interviews. He questioned why players were leaving. He openly criticized the new league and the decisions many of its stars had made. Bryson embraced LIV. He became one of its biggest attractions. Almost overnight, the rivalry became bigger than golf. It wasn't just Rory versus Bryson anymore. It was the PGA Tour versus LIV Golf. Every press conference became headline news. Every interview was analyzed. Every comment sparked debate online. Fans chose sides. And although Rory and Bryson rarely mentioned each other directly, the tension between them became impossible to ignore. Then, in June 2024, Fate finally brought them together on golf's biggest stage. Neither man knew it at the time, but what happened over the next 4 hours would define both of their careers forever. The 2024 U.S. Open at Pinehurst wasn't just another major championship. It became the defining moment of the Rory McIlroy and Bryson DeChambeau rivalry. Going into Sunday, Bryson held a narrow lead. Rory was charging. Every birdie, every missed putt, every swing changed the momentum. For golf fans, it was exactly what a major championship should be. Two of the best players in the world, trading punches until the very last hole. Then, it looked as though Rory had finally done it. 10 years had passed since his last major championship victory. The pressure had been relentless. Every season, fans asked the same question: when is Rory going to win another major? With only a few holes remaining, the answer finally seemed to be here. Then, everything unraveled. On the 16th hole, Rory missed a short putt that he would normally make almost every time. The mistake stunned the crowd. He still had one last chance on the 18th. Another short putt, another miss. Just like that, his dream disappeared. For Rory, it was one of the most painful moments of his career. But Bryson still had one incredible shot left to play. After driving into trouble on the 18th, he found himself in a greenside bunker with the championship hanging in the balance. He produced one of the greatest bunker shots ever seen under pressure in a U.S. Open. The ball settled just a few feet from the hole. Moments later, Bryson tapped in for par. Champion. While Bryson celebrated with thousands of cheering fans, Rory quietly left Pinehurst without speaking to the media. One player had written one of the greatest comeback stories in golf. The other had suffered another heartbreaking collapse, and the rivalry had reached a completely different level. Months later, Rory admitted he wanted another chance against Bryson. It sounded like harmless motivation. Then Bryson was asked about it. His response? "To be fair, you kind of did it to yourself." It was only a few words, but they spread across social media almost instantly. Some fans laughed. Others thought Bryson had gone too far by reminding Rory of the missed putts that cost him the U.S. Open. Whether you loved the comment or hated it, one thing became obvious. This rivalry was no longer just professional, it had become personal. Less than a year later, the golf world got another chapter, the 2025 Masters. By now, Rory and Bryson weren't just two contenders. They were the biggest storyline in golf. When they were paired together for the final round at Augusta National, fans expected conversations, mind games, maybe even confrontation. Instead, there was silence. For all 18 holes, the two barely acknowledged each other. Every camera followed them. Every interaction, or lack of one, became a talking point. Rory had only one goal: complete the career Grand Slam. Bryson had only one goal: win the green jacket. When the final putt dropped, Rory finally achieved one of golf's greatest accomplishments, the career Grand Slam. It was a moment years in the making. Afterward, Bryson revealed that Rory hadn't spoken to him throughout the round. Rory later explained that he wasn't trying to be unfriendly, he simply wasn't there to chat. He was there to win the Masters. Many golfers agreed with Rory. Others felt the silence reflected just how strained their relationship had become. But if anyone believed the rivalry had finally cooled down, the next year proved otherwise. The 2026 Open Championship was supposed to be about chasing the claret jug. Instead, it became another chapter in golf's biggest rivalry. During the championship, Bryson DeChambeau became involved in a controversial rules incident. After video review, officials ruled that he had improved the area of his intended swing on one hole and assessed a two-shot penalty. Bryson strongly disagreed with the ruling. He spent considerable time discussing the decision with officials after his round, and the extended review delayed the release of third-round tee times. The incident dominated golf headlines. Most players stayed quiet. Rory McIlroy didn't. When asked about the situation, Rory delivered one of the strongest public criticisms of another player in his career. First, he admitted, "I'm not particularly fond of him." Then he described Bryson's actions as performative, suggesting they were more about creating a spectacle than resolving the ruling. And finally, Rory delivered the line that sent shockwaves through the golf world. He said Bryson had held the tournament hostage by prolonging the situation. The comments spread everywhere. Some fans praised Rory for saying what they believed others were thinking. Others argued Bryson had every right to challenge a ruling he felt was unfair. Once again, golf was divided. Team Rory, or Team Bryson. Looking back, it's remarkable how this rivalry evolved. It didn't begin with insults. It didn't begin with controversy. It began with two world-class golfers who simply believed golf should be played differently. Then came the distance debate. Then LIV Golf. Then Pinehurst. Then Augusta. And finally, one explosive week at the Open that brought years of tension into the Open. Whether Rory and Bryson ever become friends is almost beside the point now, because rivalries like this are rare. They create unforgettable moments, they fuel debates, and they keep fans coming back for more. The only question left is, has this rivalry reached its peak, or is the biggest chapter still waiting to be written? Let me know whose side you're on in the comments. Are you Team Rory or Team Bryson? If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more golf documentaries, breaking news, and behind-the-scenes stories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.